Hi guys, I'm joined by a very special guest, Robyn McCafferty, who plays for Spartans Women's. Hi Robyn, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. So we'll just start off with the first question. It is, when did you get into football?
So I think I got into football when I was about 4 years old. I've got an older brother who's 3 years older than me, so mum and dad took him to football and quickly learned that he didn't like it. So I ran through the doors and started playing, and then started from there, like go to mini kickers classes and stuff, and then joined my first team.
The next one is, who got you into football?
Probably my mum and dad. Like my dad was a big football fan, big Dunfermline fan. So he used to take me and my brother to all the games when we were younger. So I'd probably say he was the first person to get me into football.
Who is a role model you looked up to as a kid?
I looked up to Caroline Weir. She was also from Dunfermline, so she was local, and obviously I grew up playing for Hibs, and she played for Hibs at the time as well. So she was probably someone I looked up to. It kind of showed me that a career in football was possible. So yeah, I'd probably say Caroline Weir.
What is your favourite football memory?
Um, Probably for me at the moment was scoring a penalty to put Celtic out the cup last season. I think just in terms of how important that was for sort of our team morale at the time and the the boost that that gave us within that stage of the season. I think probably stands out for me at the moment.
Have you got any advice to young footballers who want to make football into a career?
Yeah, I'd probably just say to work hard. I think people talk about how talented people can be, but at the end of the day, it's nothing if you don't work for it. I think if you want it enough, you're willing to work as hard as you can to make it happen. So I think that's the most important thing. Just give it absolutely everything for as long as you enjoy it, and at least at the end of the day, you can say that you tried your best no matter what happens.
Mhm. What's the best advice you've ever been given?
Um, Probably the same, really, just to stick in and do everything you can. I think I was always inspired by, those stories that you heard of the players that be the first one in to train and the last one out. Just really put in the work and do everything you can. Go that extra mile to make sure that you can be the best you can be. So I think that's probably the best advice I've been given, and it's something that I try and stick to.
Did you play any other sports when you were younger, or was it just football?
So I think I tried to do it. I think my mum and dad tried to get me into a lot of things when I was young, like gymnastics and dancing and stuff like that. But I don't think I was ever going to make much of a career out of things like that. So yeah, I think they tried to get me into everything. They used to take me along to the clubs like swimming, and I think they even took me to kickboxing at one point. But yeah, it was always going to be football. As soon as I sort of started football, I knew that was that was going to be the one for me. And at the end of the day, that took up the majority of my time. So I never really had much other time to dip my toe into any other sport. But yeah, they certainly tried to bring me up to be as active and that's possible. And that's probably where my love of most sports comes from.
Mhm. What job would you do if you weren't a footballer?
Tough one. I probably have to say like sports coaching, football coaching. Obviously, I work full time at Spartans, as well as playing football as a football coach. So, it's something that I really enjoy doing, and I've put in the work to try and get my coaching badges and things as well. And it's something that I really enjoy doing. So I think if I wouldn't be able to play football, I'd definitely try and keep myself involved in the sport as much as possible.
How would you describe your playing style?
Tough one. Um, don't really know, to be fair. I just try and don't try and I'm not very skillful, so just try and keep it as simple as possible. Try and win the ball and then pass it to someone else who's better than me. That's probably what I'd say I'm best at.
What would be your dream team to play for?
Tough one. I think growing up is like in women's football, you always want to go and play in the best league, and I think at the moment that's obviously the WSL. I don't particularly have a favourite team, but I think obviously any of the top teams there would be unbelievable.
What would be your dream stadium to play in?
It's a good one. Probably Hampden, to be fair. I think I've been there a lot of times and watched a lot of special games there, and I think obviously growing up you always want to have that aspiration of playing for the national team. So I think that's probably my dream stadium if I was to pick one.
If you could pick any 5 players in your team to make a 5-a-side, who would it be?
Wow, it's a difficult one. Oh, I don't even know where I begin, to be fair. I think obviously because I was I was saying that Caroline Weir was a big role model for me. I think she's an unbelievable football player. I think technically so good, but not only her technical ability, but what she brings to the pitch. I think what she brings to the people around her when she plays. So she would definitely be one of them. A player for me as well that I always enjoyed watching growing up was Kaká. Watching him, in his AC Milan days, his Real Madrid days, he was one of my favourite players to watch. Again, just technical ability and vision that he had was unbelievable. I know she's injured at the moment, but always enjoyed watching Leah Williamson being a centre half. I just think, again, the composure that she has on the ball, her leadership skills. You watched her at the Euros and what she did for that team and how she led them was pretty inspirational. So I don't know who else, but I'd definitely say those three would definitely make it into the team.
What's your biggest motivation when playing?
Probably my family, to be fair. They travel everywhere to come and watch me, and whether it's away playing for Scotland, as soon as they know I was in the squad, they would be looking at flights. They love watching me play football, and they travel up and down the country, whether it's Spartans or whether it's up in Aberdeen. They're always there. They just, as I say, they love watching me play football, and so that's probably my biggest motivation is to make them happy, make them proud.
Who do you prefer, Ronaldo or Messi?
It's always a difficult one. I think in terms of natural technical ability, I think Messi's there, but I think in terms of all round athlete, in terms of having to work for how good they were, I'd probably say Ronaldo. So it's always one I hate answering because I think I enjoy, and I have enjoyed for many years growing up watching the pair of them. I think it's lucky to be able to have watched the both of them do their thing. So yeah, it's always a tough one for me, but I think they're two very different players. I think in terms of footballer, probably Messi. I think all round athlete, I'd have to say Ronaldo. So I'll give you a wee cop out there.
What's your favourite cheat meal?
It's tough. Probably say Nando's, to be fair. I feel like you can't beat it. It's nice and simple, but yeah, always hits the spot. So yeah, I'd probably say if I was to go and have a cheat meal, it'd probably be a Nando's. Yeah.
Is there any meaning behind your squad number?
No, actually, there's not. So when I first came to Spartans, I was number 25, because it was just one of the only ones left. And then I think I had maybe had that for 2 seasons, and then they started only doing 1 to 20. So they basically told me that I'd be 17. So yeah, there's not a meaning behind it, but I think now I'd probably like to try and keep it now that I've had it for a wee while. So there is no meaning behind it. If I got the choice, I'd probably still.
Yeah. If you could play any position well, what position would you pick and why?
To be fair, I've always tried to hint that I want to play further up the pitch, but it's never worked. It's never worked. So I think ideally, if I could choose any, I'd want to play centre mid, but I can't see myself getting out the centre half position, unfortunately.
Going away from Spartans, what teams do you support other than Spartan?
Yes, I'm from Dunfermline, so I grew up with like my dad and my dad's side of the family is a Dunfermline fan, so was a season ticket holder up until the football kind of got in the way. So I used to play a Saturday, so couldn't go to many of the games. But just this season renewed my season ticket for the first time in a while, and whether that was a good idea or not, I'm not sure because they're not doing too well. But yeah, I support Dunfermline.
What do you think about the growth of the women's games since obviously the women's Euros and the World Cup?
Yeah, it's been, even though I think the difference that I've seen in the short time that I've been playing is crazy. So I think if you were to ask, somebody who's played in the league a lot longer than me, I think be they would see such a massive difference. But I always just go back to when I was growing up and when I first joined a team, there was no girls teams to play for, and I was one of the only girls that played. And you'd go on a Saturday morning and there was thousands of boys and there was a handful of girls. Whereas now, I'd go down to the local park on a Saturday morning and there'd be a full-on league for girls, which is, you never would have been able to dream of when I was that age. So to see that is crazy. And obviously you see things like last weekend, Arsenal women selling out the Emirates, and like the record crowds now is just, if you'd said that even 5 years ago, I think you would have thought they were joking. So I think to see how massive it's got in such a short space of time is really pleasing. It can only mean good things for the future on breaking these records and seeing an even bigger change and a bigger growth in the game.
Mhm. What more do you think can be done to grow the women's game? Obviously, it has grown a lot, but there's obviously still a lot more to be done. What do you think?
Absolutely. Like talking about it and promoting it, people like yourselves that are working hard to try and, give these players and give women's football the platform that it deserves to have. So as I say, I think just talking about it and more people getting involved, and as I say, people like yourself that are creating, content regarding women's football, and as I say, giving a platform to the players and people involved, I think is a massive thing. And I think it's only going to get better. So as I say, more people like that are putting in the hard work to try and promote the game. That's another way we can keep climbing.
Hmm. So, kind of, obviously, you've still got a while in your career. Do you see yourself going on to a management or coaching role in the future?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, day job I work full time with the community foundation here at Spartans as well. So do a lot of coaching during the day. But yeah, definitely. I think myself, and Callie, who obviously also plays in the team and works with myself at Spartans, recently just put for our C license. So, yeah, it's something that we both really enjoy. But definitely, I enjoy that game, as well as playing it. So yeah, hopefully in years to come, maybe after playing, certainly would be interested in going into a sort of more of a coaching.
Mhm. So now moving on, we've kind of got squad questions to kind of get to know the squad a little bit more. So the first one is, who would you pick to be stranded on a desert island, and who would you not want to be stranded on a desert island with?
I'll say Callie for who I'd want to talk on. I think we spend the majority of our time together. We go to the gym together in the morning. We work together like 9 till 5, and train together at night. So I think we know each other very, very well, and I think we're used to spending a lot of time with each other. So I think if we'd had to be stuck on a desert island, we'd be pretty good with each other. Who would I not want? So I'll say Tegan Browning, right? Not because any other reason, because I absolutely like love her, but I could not see the two of us getting off it, like getting off that island. There'd be no us would not come up with a solution. So I think we would be stuck there for forever.
Wow. What is your top 3 music artists?
Probably go. I like Bryson Tiller. I'll go Brent Fayez, and we'll go Rihanna.
Is there any like certain artists that always appear in the changing room kind of for music?
Trying to think. To be fair, like we have a playlist that anyone can add to. So it's like a mix of all different things. Like 1 minute it's Britney Spears, and the next minute it's like a country song that Tegan's spun in there that everyone moans about. So it's a mix of absolutely everything that you can imagine is normally played. So there's not one artist that creeps up more than others, because it's just such a random mix of songs.
Mm-hmm. Carrying on with the music, who's got the best taste of music in the dressing room?
What Callie often goes on the speaker, and I know that from working together and like in the car together a lot, we've got quite a similar taste in music. So I'll probably say her.
Who's got the worst taste of music in the dressing room?
I'm gonna say Tegan, because she was in my car and she put this country song, and I was actually speechless. Like, it was potentially the worst thing I've ever heard. So just based on that solely, I'm gonna have to go for
Uh, if you had to swap clothes with another teammate, who would it be and why?
her. I'll go with Dion, because not that we wear very different things, but like, she will always pull off anything she wears. So if I was able to pull off the things that she wears, then I would swap clothes with her. I don't think I would, but she manages to pull it off.
Last question, who is most likely to become a millionaire and why?
Oh. That's a tough one. Who would become a millionaire? You know, I'll say Becky. I feel like Becky's very intelligent, very switched on, and I feel like
Mm-hmm.
she would like not she wouldn't be silly with her money. I feel like she's very, very sensible with what she would do with her money. I don't think she'd waste that. I think I'll go Becky.
So that's all the questions I've got. Thank you so much for joining me and good luck with the rest of the season.
No, thank you very much.